your ruler, Zod. Your lands, your possessions, your very lives will gladly be given in tribute to me.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? I appreciate you guys just, for showing up and watching this video or seeing the thumbnail and clicking on it. I appreciate anyone that clicks on this video. Everyone, I would like you to bear with me as I get back in the swing of things of trying to put out videos. As I relearn how to succinctly articulate myself and pause less and stutter less and express myself better and not be so long-winded and everything, because I know a lot of times I probably come off like a stroke patient or a brain dead patient or something, and I don't like that. I try not to be, but I just have a lot of, I think faster than I can speak, essentially. Anyways, let's jump into this video. I really like this content. I recently finished Superman the animated series. I've been rewatching the whole entirety of the DCAU from the beginning, starting with Batman the animated series and Superman the animated series. Now I'll watch it in the background, or I'll watch it as I'm falling asleep. I finished Batman the animated series, and I just recently finished Superman the animated series, and now I'm starting into the first Justice League series. So, anyways, this video is just gonna recap how freaking amazingly great Superman the animated series is, and so yeah, let's jump into it. And I'll pause it and comment along the way. But here we go.
On the planet Earth, the smartest man in the world writes about a cartoon show made... sometimes being a Superman fan is hard. I mean, it's not as hard as starving in a third world country, but the character, despite being the most recognizable American symbol since Mr. Bean, it often feels like he's second fiddle to Batman, who gets all the best video games, cartoons, and movies. As a result, Superman as a brand tends to lack a cohesive vision from his corporate owners. The logic of his stuff tends to be, hey, if it worked for Batman, then it will work for Superman. However, for Superman the animated series, it's
kind of true. It worked. It was awesome. It was amazing. You know what?
And look at me talking about Superman like he's a real person.
You know what's really crazy though is it's such a shame. Superman still hasn't had a great video game. Superman still hasn't had a great video game. The Batman video game, the Batman Arkham series, Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Origins, Batman Arkham Knight. That's 4 amazingly terrific, freaking amazing Batman games. Mind-boggling. They're so freaking great that I've replayed the shit out of them. I'm like on my, I've replayed them so many times. Like I'm on my 4th or 5th playthrough for the heck of it. Recently, right now, I just said, hey, I'm gonna play through the entire series in chronological order at some point. So I'm starting on I'm finishing. I don't know why I started with Arkham Knight, but I'm finishing side to side. I accidentally started with Arkham Knight. Right? I don't know why I did that, because it's the last game. But I'm finishing Arkham Knight, and then I'm saying, here's what I'm going to do. There's a costume that you can only unlock if you play through the game twice. So I'm going to finish it this time, and then I'm going to go back. I'm going to play Batman Arkham Origins in order, Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, then Arkham Knight again, so I can get the cool costume. And that's how amazing the video games are. My point is, we haven't had, not only have we not had a good Superman game, but the last Superman game we had was on the Xbox 360 in 2006. In 2006. It was the fly, and the only thing good about that game was the flying and the physics. Other than that, the game was dog shit. The powers were cool, the flying was cool, the physics were cool, but everything else about the game was absolutely terrible. So it's like, when are we going to get a good Superman game? It's not right. We should have... And the studio that was made those Batman Arkham games was rumored to be making a Superman game for years, and we were all excited for it. Like, oh, finally we're going to get a good Superman game. He's going to get the Arkham treatment, and we're going to have an amazing Superman experience. And then, nope. Turns out the game they were making all these years was a Suicide Squad game.
How do you write a good Superman story? I'd argue there's three approaches. Either you forget about the powers and you focus on the feelings of the man, like Superman's loneliness, his sense of alienation as an immigrant, or him accepting the very concept of mortality, either from himself or others. Alternatively, you can focus on the raw satisfaction of seeing Superman's power save the day, where the framing of the situation and often the POV of those around him is what gives him inspirational power. The third option is that you hire Axel Braun. This is a broad simplification, but in other words, you either make Superman a real character with insecurities or you make him abstract. A fantastic example of the former is the DCAU interpretation.
Well, Lois, the truth is I'm actually Superman in disguise, and I only pretend to be a journalist in order to hear about disasters as they happen and then squeeze you out of the byline.
He's charming, witty, funny, he's a solid guy who has anger issues. Clark's relationship with Lois is also hysterical, and without sounding like a creep, it's kinda hot. Not as hot as sunflowers. Tim Daly gives a beautiful, calm voice to the character, and there's an appropriate feeling of warmth to his world.
Here, I made you a thank you gift.
Metropolis feels like the city of tomorrow, protected and shaped by the man of tomorrow. Too bad that it's very distracting how Superman gets his ass chunked in so many episodes. There's a weird formula throughout the season. A bad guy schemes or have their origin. They beat up Superman with pretty mundane stuff, like fucking helicopter machine guns, and then Superman turns the tide. So at the very end, there's a bit with Clark and Lois just having a laugh.
Are you jealous?
He's Superman.
When the show is great, this formula is
yeah,
a
that was a dark
But when
episode.
it's used as a clear crutch, the show becomes as memorable as one of my videos. My favorite episode is the late Mr. Kent, where Clark finds...
I gotta be careful. So there's just two things I wanted to explain is dude, I'm still stuck on the Axel Braun reference. I'm not gonna go into that. It's not important. It was really funny though. That Axel Braun reference was really funny. But in one of the episodes, it's really dark because the villain figures out that Clark Kent is Superman literally right before they flip the switch on the electric chair. Like, he's getting the death sentence, and I'm like, man, kids watch this show in the 90s. This is really dark. He's about to get the death sentence, and then he has an epiphany. Oh, holy shit, Clark Kent is Superman, right as they flip the switch and fry him.
Evidence that Freezer dude on death row, but his car gets blown up and he's considered dead. All this happens
shit, he's gonna explain it right here.
Superman wanted for Clark.
I wanted this to be Clark's victory, not Superman's.
You know that speech in Kill Bill where Kill Bill talks about how Clark is Superman's parody of all that humanity is to him, a weak, pathetic joke. Real Superman is kind of the inversion of that. Clark is everything Superman loves and idolizes in humanity. If we break it down with Carl Rogers' self-concept theory, then Superman's self-image is, well, Superman. He knows who he physically is, his powers, and his social role as the last of his people and culture. But that also means he sees himself as an outsider, an immigrant who, despite looking human, isn't, because every aspect of himself is controlled.
I feel like I live in a world made of cardboard, never allowing myself to lose control, even for a moment, or someone could die.
But it's through his wish to be human, to not be the Superman but the brave one, he finds his ideal self.
You're much stronger and faster than a normal human being.
I am a normal human being.
The ideal self being the person he wants to be, with all of his attributes he works towards. And that's Clark Kent.
But I am Clark. I need to be Clark. I'd go crazy if I had to be Superman all the time.
When Clark puts on the glasses, help his fellow man without his powers, work late, drive, hang out with Lois and Jimmy, and get made fun of by those around him, it's very much all therapeutic for his sense of self.
I found Walker's alibi. It's all here on a little computer disk.
One of the most important moments that reveals this is at Dan Turpin's funeral, where he says,
In the end, the world didn't really need a Superman, just a brave one.
he doesn't see himself as his powers. His powers doesn't make him inhuman, but it's his responsibility with them that makes him more human. And it's by the pursuit of being human, Superman has the self-esteem to bring his ideal self and his self-image closer together. It's beautiful stuff. I feel all mushy just from talking about it. So of course the show proceeds to break your heart with...
Doesn't matter.
Darkseid brainwashes Superman with fake memories and is turned against humanity. Of course it doesn't work out, but in the aftermath, Superman completely loses the trust of the American government. They say he's lost Earth's trust, but you still have Britain on your side, Superman. Superman even loses Professor Hamilton's trust. All this and the parallel universe stuff eventually sets up Cadmus, but right now, Superman goes to Apokolips for revenge. He beats the shit out of Darkseid and liberates his slaves. But much to his confusion, they look after Darkseid.
I am many things, Kal-El. But here, I am God.
Darkseid is everything Superman is not. He's a douchebag who seeks to be worshipped and is thus worshipped by his subordinates. But Superman seeks the opposite, to be a member of them.
You won't get it without a fight!
People of Earth aren't like your slaves on Apokolips. They don't take kindly to dictators.
A dimension also reflected by his fucking bro love for Batman and the eventual Justice League. But before then, Superman is now a controversial figure. Everything he's built is gone in the blink of an eye, including his sponsorship with Manscaped. However, Lois is there to inspire him, to carry on as he is. Hanging up the cape or becoming an evil dictator is not on the table. Doing anything different would be untrue to himself. The final moments of the show doesn't give us any further comforting conclusion. We don't see the change in humanity's opinion, just a promise of its possibility, which is technically then fulfilled with Justice League. But the show doesn't need it, because what this version of Clark and Superman shows us is that the effort is more important than the reward.
I did lose control, and it scares me. If I can't trust myself, how can I win back the trust of an entire...
Darkseid
One person at a time.
brainwashed
There's often a
Superman.
dismissive attitude towards Superman
made him
being too
think that he
fucking
was a
good to be
Superman
interesting. But what we
son.
can learn from the ups and downs of Superman the Animated Series is that having so much power amongst people you want to desperately be a member of can be painful. A good heart in trying your best to do the right thing is lonely, frustrating, but living with that frustration and finding yourself within it, a version of yourself to value. Perhaps it isn't Superman that's super, it's Clark Kent.
Oh, for sure. If it weren't for Clark Kent, he'd be a dictator, a ruler. If it weren't for
Man's
the
genuinely hard being
proper
so sincere.
upbringing, if it weren't for his proper upbringing, if it weren't for his proper upbringing, he would just be a complete dictator. If it weren't for him being Clark Kent, the adopted son of Jonathan and Martha Kent, he wouldn't have such a good moral compass and strength of character to handle all that. He'd be corrupted. He'd be corrupted by the power. He'd be corrupted by the power. But it's oh yeah, Darkseid. That's the climax. That's how the show ends. Is all these years, through the first 3 seasons of Superman the Animated Series, he has when he introduced himself to the world embraced him, and they have a good, trusting relationship. But in the final season, before Justice League, Darkseid kidnaps Superman, and through torture, brainwashes him into believing that he's Darkseid's son and warrior. And so then he thinks he forgets everything. He forgets his past. He forgets Krypton. He forgets living on Earth. He forgets the Kents, and he thinks he's Darkseid's son and warrior. And he comes to Earth and conquers Earth for Darkseid. And then eventually Lois helps him get his memory back and remember who he is. But it's too late. The Earth doesn't trust him anymore. So he defeats Darkseid and comes back as Superman, but at the beginning of Justice League, the Earth still doesn't really trust him, but he helps them fight off an invasion, and so he's basically working with the United Nations to as penance, and when an alien invasion happens. But anyways, I don't like that idea either. I never liked that idea, especially in Superman. Even though in Superman 4 Quest for Peace, even though like I get the good idea of wanting to rid the world of, nuclear arms. Damn it, dog hair. I get the idea of that, but I don't think the United Nations should have dominion over what Superman does. The same thing for like in Captain America Civil War. I thought that was a terrible idea for them to sign the superhero. I was completely on Captain America's side, and I thought Tony Stark was being a jackass because the government always abuses powers. And anyways, I don't know, but appreciate you guys for watching this video, and please like and subscribe and all that. And by the time you watch this video, I'll be streaming on Twitch, so go ahead and subscribe here and then head over to Twitch and follow me on there. And peace out, guys. Thank you.